So this is for our best friend Joe. We love you so much. We're just going to share a few memories over our 29 years of friendship and all of our traveling all over the world. Went to Mexico, Cancun, Rocky Point, Greer, San Diego, Oceanside. Everywhere we went, we had such a blast with him and with Melita. And we love you both so much. Jeff's going to share a little story about one of our Rocky Point trips.
Yeah, I can't not share this story. This was back in Rocky Point when the kids were little, and we all went out fishing. It was Melita's brother, myself, and Joe, and I don't know if it was Jesus or Jose, but we went out on this little, what do you call the little fishing boats?
Dinghy.
The tank.
Whatever.
I can't remember the name of it, but it was a fishing boat. We went out there. I wanted to go after the bigger fish, and this guy said, well, we should probably only got 2-3 miles, but we ended up going out about 8 miles, and we were all sitting there having a blast. Melita's brother and Joe were drinking, of course, Bud Light, and then I was just drinking Pepsi, and we were just sitting there having a great time, catching a few fish. And then all of a sudden, the little boat captain went, blue, 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 5 minutos. And we both looked at him and like, what do you mean 5 minutos? Blue, 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 blue. And basically we were sinking. So Joe, I've never
Not good.
we have a lot of stories like this, but Joe was, he was a little scared, I think. And so was Melita's brother. So they both started drinking Pepsi, and I had a couple beers. And long story short, we sat there for probably 30 minutes, water up to our knees. Finally, he Jimmy rigged the bilge pump, and we got out of there safe. But we always seem to have an adventure with the Edwards.
Always, for sure.
And I'm going to miss Joe so much. Such a good friend. And I can just say one thing, that I don't know a soul in the world that doesn't like that man. He's the greatest guy in the world.
Agree.
And we're going to miss you.
Miss you a lot. Miss you a lot.
Love you guys.
Well, we've got one thing that we're going to toast to Joe.
Oh, yes.
And this bud's for you, Joe.
This bud's for you, Joe.
Wait for me. I gotta toast you. You already
starting.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Love you.
Love you.
Always.
So there is going to be way too many key memories that are still in my head with the Edward family and, of course, Joe. But I will say, growing up, I practically lived at that house if I wasn't at my own. Always hanging out with Brady, Morgan, the rest of the gang that we always hung out with. We did everything together. When we were out, we were living on the golf course at Coldwater. We would golf all day long, man. We've spent countless hours there. A hilarious moment is when I was on the back nine with Brady and the rest of our crew at the time. And Joe was there. And when I teed off, that golf ball managed to hit a boulder. I don't know where it freaking came from. But that golf ball bounced off that boulder and smacked me straight into the nose. And I dropped. Didn't know what happened. Of course, I had a bloody nose. Throughout my childhood, I've always dealt with fainting with the sight of my own blood. So everyone's laughing at me. Everyone thinks it's hysterical. After, of course, knowing that I'm okay. And poor Joe had to call my parents and let them know what just happened. Hey, by the way, your son just teed off and he now has a bloody nose because the golf ball managed to hit a boulder and bounce back and smacked him right in the nose. It was hilarious, and we talked about it for years. When I was asked this question to bring up a funny moment, I thought that was it. I know Joe will never forget about that moment. Joe, you are definitely going to be deeply missed. You deserve nothing but the best in what we call the afterlife. I hope you're up there watching sports, betting on anything and everything, because that's what you guys did. And I hope you're up there hanging out with my old man and drinking a beer. Hope you rest easy, buddy. Love ya.
Joe was always a happy and kind man. My husband Norb would take all his buddies up to the club, and the best thing was Norb never had to pay. Joe always let him golf for nothing, but he was always wonderful to Norb's friends, and he was just like family to us. Of course, then there was Morgan, who was driving around in the little beer truck that always made things happy, and they always had such a good time. I want the Edwards family to know that Joe will always be remembered. What a wonderful man he was, and may he rest in peace.
Hey, friends of Joe. I'm very sad when I heard the words that we all know we're talking about here, but here's a little message I want to talk about Joe. I moved to Arizona from Iowa, and Joe gave me the opportunity of a lifetime to work for him. I learned everything wrong about the way to run a golf course and a business, and Joe taught me everything right. He was the best father, the best husband, best friend anybody could ever imagine. He was just the best. I miss him dearly. Melita, Morgan, Brady, I'm sorry for your loss. I love you guys. I can't imagine. But I'm a little lost for words to say what I think about Joe, because he was just the absolute best of all time. So my prayers are with you guys. I love you guys. Love you, Joe. Rest in peace. I wish I could be out there with you guys. Bye.
I don't even know what take this is. Pretty sure my camera roll has too many videos of me ugly crying. Morgan, I know you'd love that. When I thought about it though, in my 26 years of growing up with Joe, I couldn't pick just one memory. A few that stand out to me is that Joe introduced me to my love for country music, and he brought us to our first country concert. Pretty sure it was like 3rd or 4th grade, or my first country concert. I also pulled Morgan's pants down in front of everybody there, and Joe didn't get me in trouble for that, so he was the real MVP. Secondly, I can to this day still hear him whenever I'd walk through the door of the Edwards house, just yelling Caledonia, which was my nickname from day one, and I'm pretty sure he was the only person who called me that. And lastly, My 3-year-old has now asked me for a set of golf clubs for her birthday, and I know how proud he would be and excited he would be to hear that. So I love you, Edwards family, so much. Joe will always be a legend to anyone and everyone who knew him, and I know he's so proud of all of you and always going to be taking care of and looking after you guys. We love you.
Joe, I miss you and I love you. I will always remember how welcome you were when I would come hang out with Morgan and the fam. You were always so caring, and I could really feel that when you would ask me about how softball was going and what was next. I'll miss you and I love you.
This is surprisingly hard to do, considering I have a million memories of Joe. Trying to articulate a few is difficult. He loved his family, loved sports, and he was a second dad to any of the kids that Morgan and Brady were friends with. He attended practices. He was just involved. He was involved. We'd go trick-or-treating. He was just always, anything that the kids were doing, he was going to show up. He did this funny thing with the kids. When they got out of the shower, he would dry their hair with his hands. He would put their head and he'd put it together like that. And it was just a thing that he always did. It was funny. He would pull into the neighborhood in his old red Toyota Corolla, and all of a sudden the lights would go out and he'd pull around the corner and really slow and darked out, and we'd all be like, what are you doing? And he would say he was in stealth mode and that no one could see him, that he was invisible. He would he would dress up even when it wasn't Halloween. He was always out with us trick-or-treating with the kids, but even when it wasn't Halloween, he would put on this Batman costume, and he'd have his little stubble going on, and he'd say in a really deep voice, I'm Batman. It was hilarious. I got to thinking, and I looked up superhero characteristics, and it said brave and strong and smart with an unwavering moral compass, and I feel like that was Joe. He was a superhero to everyone that had the pleasure of coming in contact with him, and Batman was a superhero and Joe was Batman. He will be missed. The world was definitely a better place with him in it.
One of my first memories of Joe would be when I moved out here in 2008. He welcomed me into the whole guide crew with playing poker. I love to play poker, and I can remember going to a couple poker tournaments where it was just me and the guys, and I think I even won one of those poker tournaments. So it was a lot of fun, and yeah, Joe welcomed me right in when probably my brother and a couple others was probably like, get that girl out of here. So yeah, great memories, and I hold those close to my heart. So we miss you, Joe.
We just want to share some of our favorite memories of Joe. There are so many, it's hard to even describe one. I think we can talk about golf and Pop Warner and drunk trick-or-treating and trick-or-treating for beers in the neighborhood. We really had a lot of fun back in the day in our little hood. We hung out an awful lot. Our kids were small. We had a lot of good memories together. One of the ones I think that's most memorable for me is Joe and I took the kids down to when the Diamondbacks won the World Series. We took them down to the parade, and that was really fun. Joe ended up putting Zach on his shoulders, and kids were having a blast. I remember it was Gonzo and Luis Gonzalez and Randy Johnson, Randy Johnson, and it was just so cool. So a lot of good memories of that, and Joe, you raised a beautiful family, and you are missed. So I'm gonna let Rob talk.
Yeah, Chris covered a lot of the things that I was gonna say, but one of the memories that still lives on today that Joe is famous for is his famous 1-2-3 bet at Padre Murphy's. So moving here back in '98, I think it was one of the only sports bars open, so he spent a lot of time at Padre Murphy's, and Joe taught me how to bet on horses. So very good skill I picked up from him. So thanks, Joe. Love the whole Edwards family.
Love you guys.